Welcome back, Queen, to the Free and Fully Expressed podcast, the space where we don't rise by comparison, we rise by remembrance. I'm Jackie B., your shamanic soul guide and mama of three, and living proof that when a woman remembers who she is, she stops competing and starts magnetizing. This episode is called The Queen Doesn't Compete, She Remembers. Because somewhere along the way, the world convinced women that the only way to win is to fight for the crown that was never theirs to begin with. They learned to compare, to perform, to measure our worth against somebody else's reflection, forgetting that the throne was always within them. This episode is your permission slip to step out of the arena and back into your remembrance. So let me tell you something that I had to learn the hard way. I spent years trying to be the best mom, the best wife, the best leader, the best version of me, which, if we're being honest, was just code for the most approved version of me. I looked around at other women and silently kept score. How effortlessly they mothered, how perfectly they looked, how fast they grew their businesses. And underneath all that comparison was a deep, unspoken wound. The belief that if she was shining, there wasn't enough light left for the rest of us. And that's the illusion the world feeds women, that we are in competition for space, love, success, significance. But here's what I know now. A queen doesn't compete because she remembers her own source. She knows that her power doesn't come from being chosen. It comes from being anchored. So let's talk about the energetics for a moment. Competition energy is scarcity energy. It says, if she has it, I can't have it. If she's further ahead, I am behind. If she's radiant, I must be dim. But that's an energy leak. Constantly pulling your focus outward is draining your magic and keeping you in hustle for proximity versus standing in your power. But remembrance energy, that is pure sovereignty. It says, she is not my threat, she is my mirror. Her success doesn't take from me, it reminds me of what is possible. And I don't need to compete for light because I am light. A queen doesn't rise by outperforming. She rises by aligning and creating harmony, by remembering that abundance is her natural state. There was a moment in my journey where this finally clicked, like deep in my bones, not just a concept, but a whole body knowing. I watched another woman do something I wanted to do. Speak on stages, lead with fire, fully embody her radiance. And instead of celebrating her, my first instinct was comparing. The old ache of she's like the old ache inside of me that she's what you're not. But in that moment, something shifted. I realized she wasn't showing me what I lacked. She was showing me what I was ready to remember. And that thought changed everything. Because when you remember who you are, jealousy turns into recognition, comparison into inspiration, and competition into collaboration. That's the power of remembrance. It turns separation into sisterhood. So let's ground this whole concept into your body now. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes and take a deep breath in and let your exhale be a release. Bring your mind to a woman who triggers you. Maybe she's bold. Maybe she's confident, visible, radiant. Just notice what stirs inside of you when you think of her. Now ask yourself, what part of me is she reminding me of? The part that wants to be seen? The part that wants to create? The part that is ready to rise? Now place a hand on your heart and whisper, her light doesn't threaten mine, it activates it. I remember who I am. There is no competition in remembrance. Now breathe deeply. Feel your energy shift from constriction to expansion, from envy to embodiment. That's alchemy, queen. That's magic. So here are your 3 reflection prompts for the week. 1, who or what has triggered my comparison lately? And what forgotten part of me might be mirrored in this trigger? 2, where am I still seeking to win when what I really want is to remember? And 3, how does it feel in my body when I move from competition to connection? And just take note of what comes through. Queen, let's make this truth your new mantra. A queen doesn't compete, she remembers. She remembers that her crown isn't something she earns. It's something she embodies. She remembers that her sisters are not her rival, but they are her reflections. She remembers that power shared is power multiplied. When women remember who they are, kingdoms rise differently. We don't build empires through comparison. We build legacies through collaboration. So this week, every time you catch yourself comparing, pause and whisper, "She is my mirror, not my measure." And then come home to your remembrance. If this episode stirred something within you, share it with your sisters. Tag me, spread the message, and let's create a world where women rise together. And if you're ready to take this work deeper, to fully embody the women who no longer competes, performs, or chases, join me inside of Reclaim Your Queen. This is where remembrance becomes embodiment. And until next time, remember, your crown was never up for a competition, only remembrance.